What's going on, folks? So what we're going to do is we're going to do the bouncing ball today. And to do that, we will start off with the Flash File Action Script 2. We don't need to worry about resizing the page. But what I will do is make this a little bit easier and have it show all. That should be good. That'll work. All right, next, go to the toolbar. We're going to choose the oval tool today. And to do that, you see this group here with the rectangle. Click upon that. Hold the button down until this menu is there, and you want the oval tool. What we are going to do is we are going to change it up just slightly. So we will set that to, let's see here, we'll set that to no stroke. And for the fill, we'll set it to this red gradient. I mean, feel free to choose whatever you want, but for the tutorial, I put it on the red gradient. Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw the oval with the circle, hold your shift key down, and click and drag. And that, my friends, creates an oval. So what I'm going to do is next, we're going to convert it to a symbol to make it easier to animate. Click upon the selection tool, which is that arrow up here. Click on this. And then I want you to go to your modify menu and choose convert to symbol or use F8 on the keyboard. For the name of it, we're just going to change the name to ball. Ball. For the registration, let's set that to the middle. What that does, it makes it to where we can resize it a little bit easier. So we're going to set that to ball, make it name ball, registration in the middle, and we're going to change that from movie clip to graphic. And then click OK. To make the timeline easier to view, we're going to modify the size of this. And to do that, we'll come over here to the upper right-hand side of the timeline, click that little menu and change that to large. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make that thing move around. So what we need to do is go ahead and change this. Let's set that to, let's try 50%. There we go, 50% works. We're going to take this guy and we're going to scoot it up here. Now, if you want to resize it, you can use what's called the free transform tool, which is right here. And that activates these handles where you can go ahead and click and drag it. Now you notice how when I move it around, see how it doesn't stay a total circle? What you can do to change that, though, is if you don't like how it's turning like this, hold down the shift key as you do it, and that will keep it in proportion. And then, of course, when you want to move it again, just switch to the selection tool and bring it up here. Now, as you can see, that's still not an oval, so I'm going to fix that again because I'm being picky. Okay, I'm going to quit getting sidetracked. All right, there we go. Let's make this sucker move. And bring it up over here. Now, let's talk about the frames. So what we need to do is we need to go to frame number 5, and we're going to set that as a keyframe. You can right-click on there and choose Insert Keyframe, or you can press F6. Now that we have 2 keyframes, so frame 1, it stays there. Frame 5, it stays there. All right, now what we can do is let's take this on frame number 5 with your selection tool, grab it right here, and then drag it to the bottom of the stage. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to frame number 10, insert another keyframe. This time, what we'll do is we'll move it a little bit further up, like so. I'd like you to take notice. If I go back to frame 1, there it is, and I press enter, what's going to happen is frame 5, it moves there, and then frame 10, it moves there. So it stays there until frame 5, then it moves, stays there until frame 10. See how that works? Quite easy. Now let's go ahead and follow the sequence below. So frame 15, so frame 10, it's up there. Now what we're going to do is another one on frame 15, 20, 25, 30, and 35. Pretty easy. So 15, right click, insert a keyframe, and I'm going to match that to the instructions. That's going to bring it back down. And then on 20, insert another keyframe. I'll scoot it over here for grins. Frame 25. I'll throw it over here. Frame 30. Insert another keyframe. And, I'll move that up here. I'm going to change 25. Yeah, that'll work. So let's see here. Boom. Boom. I'll move that up so it kind of bounces. Boom. Back down. Boom. I don't like that. So 15 is there. 20. Let's go ahead and make that over here. 25. Back up like so. 30. Bring that over here. And then, oh, you know what? I'll put it over here. And then for 35, we'll make it bounce off the screen. So insert keyframe, and now I'll make it bounce over there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to actually make the thing move. Because if we press enter to play it, watch what happens. Blah, 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 blah. Pretty static and not very fun to look at. But we can do this. If we click on layer 1 like this, and it highlights all of your frames. If you didn't see that, I'll do it again for you. Just click on the layer 1, and that highlights every frame in there. And then if you come down to your properties bar down here, we're going to use what motion tween. I'm going to change it to a tween. Right now it's set to none. And what we're going to do is set that to motion. And then you'll see these arrows appear. And then we can go ahead and see how it works. Press enter. In the instructions, it says to go to test movie, but for some reason it just doesn't show up on my video when we do that. So I'll just press enter. Boom, boink, 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 and then it flies off. What do you think so far? Not too bad, right? Okay, so that's the first part right there. The second part of that is we're going to add some dimension to it. So now we get to go back to each keyframe and watch this. So the first one I'm going to do is on frame 5, we're going to flatten that out a little bit. So I'm going to zoom in just slightly. And we'll give it a little more realism. I'm going to take this center dot here, which is the anchor point, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of squish it down towards there and maybe rotate it just slightly. And then we'll move it down like that. Maybe I'll more rotate it like that. Okay. So what should happen? Let me zoom back out. To zoom in and out really easily, just press Control minus to zoom out and Control plus to zoom in. Check this out. So I'll scrub it. Watch what happens. It comes down and then it changes shape. Boink. And then it comes back. All right. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and change shape. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and make this larger. Check it out. So it's far away, hits there, and then it's coming towards us. Oh no! And then see how it gets smaller? For this one, let's make it even smaller. What do you think? And then I'm going to move it. To do that, I'm going to use the keys on the keyboard, the arrow keys, and I'll hold the shift key down and I'll bump it up. Because if I only use the arrow key, like if I use the up arrow right now, see how it doesn't move very fast? But it goes 10 times as far if you use the shift key when you do it. And let's see, where's 20 at? 20 over here. I'll kind of make that one larger. Scoot that over. Maybe squish it a little bit. Rotate it just slightly. Okay, it's coming along. And then I'll make it a little bit smaller again. On 30, make it larger. I'll make it real big. How about that? And then 35, it'll just disappear off camera. All right, let's see how it looks. Oh man, that's crazy. So ladies and gentlemen, that is simple motion tweening. You learned a couple of things here. First one was how to use the oval tool. And then of course, to change the color on it. We did not use a stroke on that, and I'll explain that in a later lesson. But the other thing too was that you used a symbol. When I click on it, see how it has that blue box around it? That means that it has a symbol. That's in a symbol, and it's now located in your library. It's called ball. And then also we learned how to use the motion tween, and of course to add a bit of dimension to it as it moves around. See how that works? And in case you're wondering, tween means it's short for saying between, like between the frames. Hope you all enjoyed this. And then next we're going to use the bouncy ball again, but this time we're going to add what's called a motion guide. Stay tuned.